grab this thing and go with it. You know what I mean?
Let's
Ask
roll
Eddie.
with it.
I was coming to Eddie for 2 or 3 years, begging him to put snakehead lures in here to do something, you know. And finally he did it. And then he was begging me for the last 2 years to do a podcast. And then finally I said, okay, let's do it. Let's go ahead and try it, you know. So I think he's got like the brains on the direction, you know what I mean? I've got the brains on content.
Hey, everybody. That is Gary Smith.
Hello.
That is Kaz Kenny.
Kapow!
And I am Eddie Bramble, and this is episode 33 of the Blackwater's Edge podcast. Kaz?
That's a lot of episodes,
Yeah,
Eddie.
we're getting on there, man. Start us off with this week's
All
fish
right,
report.
so let's talk about fishing. So we know the hurricane came through. We had a little bit of water here. We saw some flood, and I freaked the hell out because I saw the biggest storm surge ever in my life down there where I'm at in Madison. So it was a little scary last couple of days, and we made it through, and the community came together, and everybody's doing okay. So everybody's been asking us how everything is. We're doing okay.
Still a little wet.
Still a little wet, yep. And some of the ditches still have some water in it. And if you look around enough, you'll be able to find oh, it was my phone. Dang, me this week. Phew, gosh. All right, so anyway, so the snakeheads, yesterday was a phenomenal day for a lot of people. And everybody wants to say, well, Kaz, why was it such a phenomenal day yesterday down there at Blackwater? Folks, you got to think about this. Where have we been with water temperature here the last 3-4 weeks?
Hot.
90-plus degrees.
Hot.
Dude, we had some places shallow. 100 degrees of water, man, last week, That is absolutely insane. Now, I don't know about you, but I probably have a little bit of hard time living in 100-degree water, reproducing and doing all that. But we know one thing for sure, snakeheads can do that. So, anyway, so the water's up. People are gigging snakeheads. Yesterday, I talked to some people yesterday. I know guys yesterday caught over 30 snakeheads yesterday. So when the water temperature drops like that and you get a favorable feeding condition, the pH is right, the oxygen is right, man, I'm just as happy as can be now because I'm not sweating to death. I'm going to go eat. That's what happened yesterday. So a lot of guys yesterday caught a lot of fish, so that was really good to hear. The beta choice yesterday, I heard again, it was the MEPS inline. I got one guy said he caught over 30, and, he wasn't even going to go fishing. He just decided after work to make a little stop, make a couple casts, and lo and behold, he said he had the best day of fishing here for snakeheads he's ever had in his life. So that was good to hear.
On the hurricane.
Yeah.
Reproduced probably a new 150, 200 ponds and small ditches and creeks.
Well,
for a few days.
Well, I can tell you this much. I didn't see any snakeheads today walking up 50 going north. They must have found plenty of places to go here the last 2 days. So, but yeah, that's about it. Just keep in mind it's hot. Temperatures are going to be up and down. Fish are going to be hard to figure out when it gets hot like this. So it's all about putting in time. It's all about being persistent. It's all about thinking outside the box. A lot of guys, we were talking about this before the show. It seems like every week we've got a new hot bait coming out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, last week we heard the hyperelastics again. This week it's MEPS again. We're hearing the addictions baits. We're hearing on the frogs, the lunker hunts. We're hearing on the western frogs. We're hearing on the live target mice.
We've seen that since we started this. Once you have a hot bait, you ride that thing.
Yeah.
Once one eats, they all eat, and that's how it's always been.
I know one thing for sure. I was talking to my cousin Ricky, and he is to the point now where literally 95% of the lure he's casting, he told me, is the hyperelastics.
He loves them. He's been on them all summer.
And I think now you've been bit by them just because of how effective they are. And I think that bait's really, really taken off. So I'm really glad to see that's in here and that's in the store. I've seen some other new baits that are getting ready to hit the market too, and a lot of good stuff to look forward to that's coming out.
I really can't wait to try their the dart props. I saw those at ICAST, and they looked phenomenal. So
catfish, crabs. On the salt side, let's talk a little bit about that. So just outside the mouth of the chop tank, the big chop tank and the little chop tank, we're hearing reports of cobia showing up. They've been seen on the surface and some big fish. The trout are still around. We're still catching some trout, 3 to 5 pounds. It's good quality trout this year. We all know that. I have started to see some small blues showing up now, so that's good to see. Spotter here, white perch are here, kingfish, mullet, whatever you want to call them. They're catching them down Hooper's Island off the ferry bridge. So, just flounder are here. If you look around, you'll find some flounder. Ain't going to be long. We're going to see Spanish mackerel coming through. So lots of good stuff here in Dorchester County. That's the thing I think we always talk about is that the diversity here is so magnificent. We can come here and we can go out to the bay and we can catch all the soft fish. We can come into Blackwater. We can catch all our bracket fish. And we can go on the other side of 50 and we can find all of our freshwater species. So anyway, that's enough out of me, enough talking fish. And let's get right to this thing because we have got one hell of a guest here today.
That's right.
Man.
So this week we've got Rob Freyer here. Rob, how you doing, man?
Good. What's up? He's
I'll pull that mic to you a little bit closer for me.
doing good.
There you go.
I
Appreciate
think Kaz went a little overboard, but from what I've learned of him, it doesn't take much. So
He wanted to put a muzzle on me.
He's
before
on the
show,
edge.
man.
Let's just say that.
I think a muzzle might work pretty well.
He told me I'd love to go fishing with you, man. Two things, either a mask or a muzzle.
So, Rob, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself real quick?
So I'm I mean, most people, if you know me, know I'm just a hardcore outdoorsman. I live in the outdoors pretty much. I'm always out there doing something, fishing, hunting, setting up properties, managing my deer, just doing whatever. I mean, I'm all about. Today was just working in the woods all day long till I got here. Currently, I work. I'm a social media manager and marketing specialist for Outdoor Sportsman's Group. We run the Outdoor channel, Sportsman's channel. Really cool, really fun job. Get to work with a lot of really great producers and people, and just help promote the outdoors and the outdoor lifestyle. Also, on the side, I'm a land advisor for the land group. We specialize in selling. We call it dirt, but properties. You're always about the good dirt. So, if you're looking for a good hunting property, a farm, a farmette, agriculture land, timberland, poultry farm, whatever, we've got the largest listings in the state, over 30,000 acres. We can certainly help you find what you need. And, that's great. It's enjoyable. I love it. I love going out to a property and walking it with a prospective buyer, just seeing what it has, just showing them the deer sign. And really, it kind of just lets a passion out of me when I'm showing them and hey, man, look at that. That's all rubbed up. Check these trails out. And you kind of just come together, while you're looking at it. And, as they're falling in love with it, I'm falling in love with it. It just makes the whole transaction that much better. So
the difference is you got to get rid of it.
I was gonna say that's gotta suck, man. You go in there and you see these big rubs, and you might even see a giant buck, and you gotta let it go.
Well, like I said, I was telling you earlier, I showed a property down in Mardella Springs the other year, and ended up selling that. But just walking that property with them, I mean, it was unbelievable. I've never seen such a good property, and the buck rubs and the sign. I mean, it holds fantastic animals. And I'm like falling in love with it, and they're falling in love with it. I can see them like just drooling at the mouth. Like, I know they want this property, and they ended up getting it. So, I got to follow up with them, see what they got on camera, see what's going on. But I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a dream come true for them. So it's just, things are moving. Got a lot of just things moving different directions all the time. Just constantly trying to manage all the different things I do on a daily basis. And, it was cool to have you guys invite me down here, share some time with you guys, and talk about some snakeheads. And I love snakeheads. I think they're fantastic to eat. I don't catch them as much as I shoot them with a bow, but hopefully we can get on some and catch some. And they're fantastic to eat. And I can tell everyone, these guys here, Gary, Chaz, and Eddie, man, they know their stuff. And if anybody listening wants to catch a snakehead, come to the Wolford store down here in Cambridge, and these guys will put you on the fish. I can promise you that. If you can stand Chaz, but he's cool.
Well, we certainly appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
that was
absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah, it was.
So how'd you get into the social media side for the Outdoorsman Group?
Well, I mean, I've kind of been on social media a long time, and it goes way back, like over 10 years ago, when social media was brand new. And really the only thing back in the day was, I think there was like MySpace or something.
Yeah, MySpace.
I never did any of that, but, Twitter came out, and, I joined up with Twitter with some friends, and Twitter kind of grew. And, in a matter of time, that's the one cool thing about social media, is that you actually meet and you interact with a lot of people that have your same likes and interests. And we grew such a great following on Twitter. I mean, I ended up growing I think I still have over 10,000 followers. And it's just cool to just be able to talk to people and meet people and share your passion for the outdoors and whatever you do with just about anybody all across the country. I mean, I've got friends pretty much in every state that, I talk to every now and then just do tweets or whatever. So I kind of grew from there, and I met some really good people, and, some of those people got into, the outdoors, and it just built up in time, getting to know people. And as industry goes, I will say like a lot of jobs, a lot of things in this world is you kind of, I don't know how to say it, you kind of get ahead, from the people
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that people I know like had special powers or anything like that, but they can certainly put a good word in for you, get you in the right place, put you in the right direction, and just being respectful and honoring your relationships and having good friendships has really helped me progress. I've always been, a man of my word. I do what I say I'm going to do, and that's always helped me excel through my career. So my good friend Rudy Bakri, he lives in Colorado. He was with Outdoor Sportsman's group, and he was one of my original friends that I had met on Twitter. And again, he lives in Colorado.
Wow.
And we became really good friends. We did a big like elk tour and deer tour, and he made some videos and did some stuff, and we did some really cool stuff. Like he did a hunting tour called Huntography around the country, and that linked up a whole bunch of people through social media. So I've remained friends with Rudy for, over 10 years now, just from social media.
That's fantastic.
And, he had an opening at Outdoor Sportsman Group, and he called me up and, offered me the job one day. And, it was just a fantastic opportunity. So I took it, and, here I am. And then as far as the land group goes, that's something that I've always thought about, and the past 3 years I thought about it really hard, because I love being outdoors. I love being on the property, and I'm different from a lot of people, man. Like I might think a good day is going out to a property when it's 95 degrees, sweating my ass off, killing myself to get it set up for deer season, but I love it. I think it's great.
Yep.
Most people think I'm crazy and they
I
hate
think
it.
you'll fit right in here.
It sounds like a wonderful day to me, man.
They don't want to do it, but I'm all about it. And my wife is a great supporter of mine. She's like absolutely wonderful, supports everything I do, and I love her dearly for that. And I take her out with me every now and then, and she helps me out, and that's a lot of fun. I took her to my sicker property the other weekend. That wasn't any fun.
Muddy, mosquitoes, flies. What was it?
I thought women like mosquitoes.
That was not fun, man. The mosquitoes, I've been down there a couple times this year, but the time I happened to take her, it was ungodly, man. I mean, the mosquitoes were so bad. And, she must smell sweet or something, because they were all over her. And she had welts for weeks and days. I had to buy her some bug tamer stuff to get her to come back. But,
Wow.
it's just one of those things, man. Like just having good friends and good relationships really go a long way. And, if you have those, you really need to honor them and just, respect what you have and just love what you do and love what you have. And I don't know. That's all I can say, man. I just do what I do.
It's funny hearing the way you talk about social media, because I've been saying this for years. It's just the evolution of human nature.
Yeah.
It's just another extension of who we are. It's not the ruination of all mankind like people think it is. It's just an extension, a different way of expressing ourselves.
Well, I think
of communicating.
I think it's all in how you use it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
like we've got like I don't know how I kind of look at it, like you have like these divisions in social media. You have the good people, you have the adequate people, you have the trolls, you have the bashers. So I think the most important thing is to stick with those good people.
Oh, and let me tell you that.
You ain't got to tell me. I know exactly what you're thinking right now, because I'm on that shit 24 hours a day answering them questions too.
There is a lot of trolls. And let me just say this, as far as social media and hunting, fishing, all that, we all love the outdoors, right? We all go hunting, we all go fishing. Why do we all have to judge each other? Can't you just be happy for what someone else does?
This is all new, and I've been saying this for a while.
It's
Rob,
ridiculous.
think about when you were younger, man, and even Eddie and Gary, we've talked about it before. You're on social media. I understand. You ask somebody about a spot. Maybe they don't want to talk about it, but
Well, I'm not giving my spot up.
Well, I understand that. I know, but what I'm saying, when a little kid comes onto a page, like let's use this for an example, and they say, "Kaz, I've never caught a snakehead. Can you help me?"
Absolutely.
The first thing I'm going to do is help that kid. And if you think back to when we were all young growing up, this mentality of, I'm not burning my spot, go F yourself, well, what is that about? I mean, and we say it a lot. When I was a kid, I've said this story a million times on the show. I was 14 years old, 13 years old. I saw a man walking out of a park with these giant bass on a stringer. I'd never caught a bass that big, but I'd seen them back there in the river. And I looked at him and I said, "You catch them there?" And he says, "No, I brought them with me." "Yeah, I caught them here." I said, "I know, because I seen them big fish back there when they're swimming. I've never caught one." That man that day stopped everything he was doing, put his bass in his cooler on ice, grabbed his rod, walked me back there, and put me on my first biggest bass in my life. I'll never forget it, you know? That's what fishing has always been about to me.
Absolutely.
Not this, don't ask me this, I'm not helping you, I'm trolling this, I'm going to call you this name, I'm going to call you that name. Dude, if my fish isn't adequate enough for you, go look somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? The last thing that we need anymore is people just, this whole negative stuff, you know? If I've got a 8-inch bluegill and I put a picture up there and some guy throws 10 pictures of a 14-inch bluegill in there, I mean, that's just, what is that? You know what I mean?
It's childish. It's childish.
Right.
It's jealousy more than anything. I don't know
exactly
why
right.
people need to be
People
jealous.
aren't happy. It's like, for me, if I were to take you out snakehead fishing and you caught the state record, I would much rather you caught the state record than I caught it, because I'm supposed to catch it. I'm a guide. That's what I do. You know, technically, semi-professional fisherman. But when you take someone and you see when someone else enjoyed it, that's where I get off, man. That's
I'm
the fun in it for me.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. You know, 2 weeks ago, you know, some guys on another page totally just crapped me out like you wouldn't believe. And we all saw
I believe it.
You know, the bottom line is this, dude. Nobody's going to come on any of our pages and dog somebody out, belittle them, be disrespectful, anything like that.
Well, we're very lucky, too, because we have a great mod team.
We do.
We have a great mod team.
We do. And I have to tell you, I was quite embarrassed to see that thing go the way it went and as long as it went. You know, if anything ever like that happened in our group, dude, you are gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Period. You know? So, you know, I think that, and I see it on your page too, Rob. I think the biggest thing is that we keep the integrity to our pages that we have. You know, when I see another group over there bad-mouthing this guy, bashing this guy, throwing this guy under the bus, calling him names, really, man, I mean, that's the crap of the crap. You know what I mean? So, you know, all that beside, you know, the other thing people don't understand is, you know, when you do things like that, sometimes you might unintentionally drive a whole bunch of people to that page by the way you're acting, which that's exactly what happened 2 weeks ago. So thank you very much. So anyway, back to the program. I mean, social media is what's kind of doing it for everybody here, I think. You know, I mean, I think that's helped all of us grow everything. I haven't had the chance to do any Twitter stuff, or I think the only thing I got is Facebook and Instagram. Eddie tried to get me to get on TikTok, which I downloaded that, but I still can't figure out how to use any of it. So
I refuse.
you know,
TikTok's phenomenal. I'm in love with TikTok. I ain't gonna
I
lie to you.
refuse. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
it's too much now. That's my point. I can only imagine what you deal with. You know,
So-
800,000 people is a lot bigger difference than 40. You know what I mean?
You say it's all, you know, it's too much now. So the funny thing is, like, and I, you know, even, you know, working in social media and all that, it's like, we posted like the same thing to all these different platforms. Like, I don't know, how come? Just because we do it, because everyone does it? I don't know. But, you know, there are, you know, different aspects to it. I mean, you know, you can post, you know, videos and different things to Facebook, you know, great images to Instagram. You know, Twitter is more like informative info stuff. But it's just all in how you use it.
Right.
You know, and most importantly, like, just be respectful to everybody. You know, I just don't know why, you know, people in the outdoors, like, we're a pretty close-knit, I would say, industry and family. Like, why can't we all just come together and support each other? I don't see the need for hate. Like, I'll share this one thing. I shared a little kid with his first buck one time. You know, this was a little kid, his first buck. You know, it's probably a little 4-point or something like that. And you would not believe the hate on that post.
It's unreal.
Needs another year.
Yeah.
Why'd you shoot that? And I'm like, it's a little kid's first deer. Who cares how big it is?
Right.
You know, and what would make someone say something like that is just beyond me.
Because they got one smaller than that themselves.
Or the guy that comes here and catches his first snakehead and it's only 10 inches.
Right.
And he's super proud about that fish. And he puts his picture up there and everybody says, that ain't nothing. I mean, what is that all about? You know how I respond to it. Everybody here knows how I respond to it. We ain't always going to catch big fish. So when a guy comes on the page and says, hey, I got my first snakehead, he's holding up and it's only 10 or 12 inches, the first thing I'm going to say to the guy is, They can't all be big, but they can all be fun. I'm not going to say, oh, that's horrible. You shouldn't even posted that.
Well, they all
Dude,
eat-
I'm
they all
so
eat
glad that they posted that. I am so glad they're proud of that 12-inch fish.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? That's what it's about. Period.
We got a comment here.
They all
Dave,
eat well.
I don't know if I can pronounce.
Dave Treckner?
Treckner.
Oh, that's my boy Dave.
He said, if it wasn't for Rob, I'd never learn how to hunt. He bends over backwards to help.
Hey, mad props, Spinal Tap.
Who's,
Love you, brother.
Hey, Big Buck. What's up? That's what he calls me, Big Buck.
That's what everyone calls me, Big Buck. I don't know why. I guess
Call me Big Asshole. No, I'm just kidding.
You shoot a couple big deer, you get a good nickname.
There you
So,
go.
but it's just it's hard work, man. I work so hard at it, and I think hunting, fishing, it all is the same as life. You only get out of it what you put in
Exactly.
it.
That's what I tell people.
100% right.
You hear everyone complaining. I can't shoot a deer. This sucks. I can't catch any fish. And then you look at them, you follow their lifestyle, and they're not doing anything to help
Right.
themselves. I've helped so many people get into hunting, and the ones that get it. My buddy Dave that just replied. He goes out. He works hard. He puts the minerals out. He checks his cameras. He shoots deer. Other people, they don't do anything, and then they want to complain that they're not shooting deer. So it's the same as life, man.
You get what you give, man.
You get what you give. Like you put it in, you get it out.
I tell
of
people,
it.
if you didn't bring anything to put into it, you ain't going to get nothing out of it. If you came here and didn't get nothing out of your trip,
you
then
might get
you
lucky.
missed. You missed. It's not about the fish, though. You know what I mean? Like, when we come here and we go fishing, like this morning, you were bringing my truck back to me. I went out to Taylor's Island. I wasn't expecting to go catch any big fish. I was just expecting to make a couple casts and maybe get lucky and catch something. I got out there. I made my first cast, had my first rockfish, only about 4 inches.
I'm delivering his car, and he's sending me pictures of his rock. and I got to tell you this, Cat.
Oh, shit.
My
It's
truck,
coming. Here
my truck
goes.
had been sitting in my driveway for 3 months, waiting for it to get repaired. So I took it into the shop today. And there's a few lights on. I took it in, get tires, front end, brakes, and all that. I picked your car up from the shop, and you had more lights on the way back down than I had to take mine into the shop.
Oh, you mean on the dashboard?
Oh, everything's lit up.
Oh, well, if you disconnect the battery and hook it back up, then you only have no lights.
Gary,
But
I
then
think
once
you
you
need-
get about 3 miles, the lights come back on. I'm trying to...
Oh, and then
You need to tell the story, the other story you're telling.
I never,
So-
hold on.
so then-
Gary, hold on. Before you go, I got the perfect fix for it. You won't have to deal with it anymore. Tonight when I go home, I'm putting black electrical tape.
That's what I was expecting to
every
see.
bright light.
I figured they maybe pulled it off in the shop. But I drove Kaz's car today. Only about 10 miles.
Oh, God.
I've had 7 Red Bulls. I've been to Dairy Queen twice, and I've eaten every piece of candy that I could find.
That would explain why you were
And it's
shaking
hard-
when
it's
you
hard
got to the podcast.
It's hard to contain myself and not interrupt everybody talking here. So I always thought it was him. It's a car, man. I'm telling you.
When Gary showed up, man, he had a vibrator in his pocket. He was just... I said, Gary, what's going on? He said, dude, 7 Red Bulls, all them bottle caps, and all that candy, dude. I can't even sit still. I said, damn. Rob, I want to talk a little bit about, like, how this unfolded, like you're hunting and you're fishing. Let's go back to you as a young man.
I was bad.
I know, but do you remember? Well, I don't know. I was bad too. But is there any like what lit the fire for you? Do you remember that day or that trip or who it was or who you were with or where it started at? And let me make it 2 parts. Let's talk about fishing and let's talk about hunting. So maybe talk about fishing, how you got into that and then how you got into hunting.
So, I guess fishing. I was a very, very hardcore fisherman. I always fished every single day. Grab my tackle box, my rod, go down and walk to the ponds. Where I live at home, I mean, there's probably 7 ponds around within walking distance or whatnot. And that's all I did. I would fish as much as I could. Saturdays and Sundays, surprisingly, I would watch the networks that I now work at and watch the fishing shows. I would
That's
watch
gotta be
like,
cool.
Oh yeah, I would watch like Bill Dance, watch Hank Parker, get some tips, and when I saw the one tip I liked, I would just grab my rod and head out the door, man, and go to the pond and try out what the pros told me on TV. Of course, it never really worked, but
They got their money though.
I would go anyway. So I mean, I've always fished, river fish, trout fish, smallmouth's my favorite. I got a good friend Peyton is, always go with him and his dad rock fishing. So always fished. And then when I went to college, I always kind of wanted to hunt. I talked about it in high school a little bit. I shot bow a little bit, but never really got into it. My dad didn't hunt, so I didn't get into it that way. But when I went to college, I met some guys.
Now, you and Eddie went to the same college. I don't mean to interrupt, but right?
Yeah.
There's a little bit of time frame difference, but
Yeah, Eddie's older.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll go with that. So I met some good friends in college, and they hunted. Now, when I met them, I wasn't actually staying with them. I just kind of met them through classes and stuff, and we had the same interests, and we talked and whatnot. And they kind of really pushed me over and got me into hunting. So I will thank the college system for the gracious student loans that you could get through college. I used those student loans, like I bought my first bow and tree stand and all that good stuff. Now, I'm not a freeloader like
Outdoors 101, man.
well, I'm not a freeloader like a lot of people are asking for nowadays because I paid all those loans back. But it gave me money to buy all the stuff to get set up. Right. And then, the guys I met in college, they took me out to their spots and they got me hunting and all that. And I remember back in college, my first time I really went hunting, a good buddy named Mike Smith, he actually knows Rob Ballantyne well, too.
Hi, Rob.
He took me out to a spot and, set me up in a tree. And that was like my first real hunt. And I'm just sitting there. And here come like 5 doe. I mean, I remember it distinctly, man. And this is back in the day. I had a 5-pin sight on my bow, which
I remember.
I only shoot 1 pin now,
right.
But like back in the day, all the stuff was old.
I know.
The doe come in, and I'm looking and watching, man, and I'm like shaking like a little girl, and I'm just like going crazy. Like you said, you spaz out.
Spaz out.
So,
hey, that could be a good shirt for me, spaz, man.
He spazzes out when he's waiting for a milkshake at the Dairy Queen.
I can see that. I can see that. But,
God.
Anyway, I get the doe in range, and I just remember I drew back, and I'm shaking so bad. I'm like, well, all 5 pins are on her. Screw it. And I freaking fired, and I missed her, And I was hooked after that. I'm like, man, that was like just the best adrenaline rush ever. And I didn't even get the deer. So I was hooked after that, And then, I geared back up better over the summertime. The next year in college, I ended up moving into a house with those guys that brought me into it. And then
God.
I was off to the races, man. Like, I almost flunked out of college the next year because I hunted and fished like every single day before and after class, and it was a mess. And then I had to apply myself, and that's the story, man. I was just full throttle after that, man. Just donking down, whacking and stacking, man. It was just good times after that. And then I didn't really fish as much after I got into hunting because hunting just really took my passion more. But I still fish as much as I can. It's just, it seems like nowadays, like all the time there is to fish is like my time I need to manage and set up all the properties that I manage hunting. So I fish as much as I can when I get the time. I'm counting on you to get me on a big snakehead.
Oh, we're going to do that. That ain't no
And I won't lie. Like if Gary wants to put me on state record snakehead, I'll definitely take it.
Gary might be able to put you on state record bluegill one of these days.
They fry up good too. But I don't know. I just love being outdoors, man. It's such a good time. It's so inspiring. And one thing I'd like to say, because there's a big push this year, and our network is going to be doing something here soon about Hunt the Vote. I just really want to say, like, as far as outdoorsmen, I think all our values are relatively the same. I don't want to speak for anybody, but the election's coming up. The last election, only about 50% of outdoorsmen voted. Please get out and vote. Do your part. President Trump just passed a Great American Outdoors Act. He's signed it into law. He is taking care of the outdoors for us, and we need that. He's trying to preserve what we love. Get out and vote, please.
I think a lot of people are very, very excited to see that.
It was awesome. I mean, we're promoting it big time on Sportsman and Outdoor Channel. I mean, it's a great thing for all of us.
Let me ask you this. Being that we're talking about all this hunting and stuff, is there any hunts that really stick out to you? Like did you almost get attacked by a lion, but you got him at the last 3 seconds? Or no, you know what I'm saying. I mean, is there any like hunts that you could share with us, like about stuff that like really meant something to you? Like I would like to go hunt an antelope one day. I've never killed an antelope. I'm just using that for reference. What sticks out in your head? Some of those good times that you had, with your hunting. There goes Kaz down the road.
Yeah, Jesus.
That's not on the microphone?
That was in the microphone, bro.
That was in the parking
Somebody
lot.
somebody stole his truck.
He stole my truck, right?
Man, that guy was in a hurry to get to the snakehead spot, I guess.
You ought to see me, man.
Now, I mean, I've had an absolute just tremendous hunting career so far. I have been very, very blessed. I can't ask for any more. Some of my best hunts, honestly, man, are, you know, the ones where I've taken people to get their first animals. Like, I put my wife shot some deer with me. I was with her in the stand with her when she shot her first deer. You know, that was a fantastic moment to see that look on her eyes and how she did it, and we got that deer. And then, like, I always try and, she doesn't hunt, you know, that much, but she likes to go. And I want her to experience some of the experiences that I get, because if you're not in stand a lot, you don't really get to experience it all. Like, you got to be there a lot, and then you'll see, like, so much stuff happen. It's just crazy. So I put her in a stand one year. You know, it was peak of the whitetail rut, and I said, look, there's several good bucks in the area. Have at it. You know, I dropped her off. I went to a different property.
Oh, wow.
You know, and she called me. She's like, just yelling and screaming on the phone. Like, I'm like, what, you okay? Like, what's wrong? She's, I shot a buck. I'm like, really? Like, you shoot a good one? She goes, I think it's a good one. I'm like, so, you know, you never know what to expect. Like, I think it's a good one. So
They're all good ones when I shoot them, believe me, until we find them.
yeah. So I'm literally in a tree stand with our son. He's with me, and I had just shot a doe. I'm like, well, all right, I got to take care of this, and then I'll be right over. So I take care of my stuff on my end. I get down, and we go over there, and she was like just so pumped up. You know, like, she ended up shooting this really great 10-point buck.
Wow.
And she got to experience all the cool stuff that I've always told her about in the woods. Like, she had some other deer under her, and the big buck came in, and he grunted at them, and they all ran and scared. And then she was trying to get a shot at him, and she grunted at him, and he came in, and he turned, and she just waited, and she shot him, and she saw him go down, and, like, just... she got flooded with all the emotions that you get when you have a great hunt like that. But the cool thing was she got to experience all the stuff that I always tell her about, why I keep going back. Because if you just hunt once or twice, you miss out on a lot of stuff that can potentially happen, all the different things that can happen in the woods. I mean, the whitetail rut is, like, just absolutely magical sometimes. You know, so that was great. I got her first turkey. I mean, that was an unbelievable hunt. You know, I remember... you know, taking her and our son to the turkey blind one time, and there was a turkey roosted right over us. And when that thing freaking gobbled right over our heads, like, the look on our kid's face when he heard that gobble for the first time was like, you'll remember that forever. You know, he was like just in disbelief what he just heard. Like, it was like the coolest thing ever. You know, my buddy Dave that replied earlier, I was, you know, in a stand with him. I put him on his first deer. You know, and that was great. We got it on video. It came in, you know, we watched it run and crash, and he was just like in disbelief that, you know, that had literally just happened as well. So, I mean, the best part about the outdoors, honestly, is sharing it with other people.
You just hit the nail on the head. Like, my biggest thing, and you always see me use the hashtag everybody does, is pass it on.
Yep.
Pass it on, you know, and when we do that, you know, you're saying, you know, we need to really, like, up our hunting, you know, how many there are, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, when we do things like that, not only do we get the reward, my biggest thing is this, you know, you can really, really help yourself by helping other people. You know, I don't think people really realize that, you know, if you're having a bad day and guy wants to go hunting and you go pick him up and you take him out, the first thing that does is remove you from self, you know, and it puts you in a different emotional platform with that person. You know what I mean? And to hear you talk about the wife, the things that she got to experience, you know, that's what makes hunting. You know, a lot of us do exactly what you said. We go once or twice, we don't do good, we never go back, you know? And I think, like, when I tell people the feeling that I get, they never understand. Yeah, and I'm sure your wife never understood, you know? And once they get to experience that, then they can relate to exactly what we're telling them, you know? So that's, like, the coolest part about it, you know, pass it on, man.
You never know who you're going to take.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you might, it's like in the Blackwater. I've 50 years I've been going back there. You know, and I remember when it was all lily pads and all those little tree stumps now were trees. And you know, and I told Marcia that day, I said, you remember how you get around the old people and they're telling you how it was 50 years ago? I said, boom, here I am. You know, because I can remember back that far. You know? But you never know. Just like your college friends took you, they had no idea you're going to be where you are today, and you're here because of that.
Well, and you can tell how important it is passing on. I mean, Rob it was so much more excited to tell that story about his wife than his own stories.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of it.
And I do have to say that because I know the wife's watching and everything, and she said, you know, that he doubled down with that story. So that was good. So that means you got a boy, right? So back in the day, you know, people would say to my pop, you know, he's a good kid, and he'd be like, yeah, you know, that boy over there, he gets a few boys, he piles them up, but then one all shit knocks them all out the place. So look, you keep piling up the boys because you're going to have an all shit somewhere coming, I know. So
Hey, if you know me, all I pile up is donkeys, man. Whack them and stack them, baby. But, you know, going back to social media, like I hadn't talked, my buddies that got me into hunting, you know, I hadn't talked to them in a long time, you know, since I graduated college.
Right.
But, you know, Facebook brought them back into life, and now, you know, we chat every now and then. And like, literally, this hurricane that came through a couple days ago, like, my buddy lives in Southern Maryland, Mike Smith, that put me on the first deer I shot at. And it's like, hey, man, you know, he had the hurricane go by in a tornado. I'm like, you know, everything okay? So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great things that come from social media and the outdoors, for sure.
have you been out of the country hunting?
I have only ever been to Canada, and I shot a black bear up there, and that was quite the experience.
Where'd you go? Where'd you go for that hunt?
New Brunswick.
New Brunswick.
Yeah. I mean, when you're used to just hunting whitetails, and I mean, I'll remember that hunt forever too, because I just remember the very first bear I ever saw. I'm like sitting there, and I hear it, and I'm like, you know, turning my head looking, and I just saw the black, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, that's a bear. Holy cow. And I'm like watching, and it comes out, and it comes right by, but it was like a 30-pound cub, but I'm freaking out nonetheless because it was the first bear I ever saw. But cool experience, man. I mean, very, very cool. I did end up harvesting a bear on that hunt, and it was a fall bear, and it was absolutely fantastic to eat, man. Some of the best meat I ever had. And people say they don't like bear, but, you know, if you ever eat them in the spring, that's one thing. Try and eat one in the fall.
Bear.
I've never had bear. I've had
Dad
Dad shot a caribou in Alberta, and that was my favorite meat is caribou. It's fantastic.
I had some friends that went up to Newfoundland one time. I think that's where it was. And they're upland caribou. I don't know if that sounds right or not.
Yeah.
But he killed them, and he brought them back to work. And I'll tell you what, man, that was some of the best eating that I ever had.
Caribou's fantastic.
I like elk meat. I'll tell you what, the Sika meat's right there with it.
That's
for
what I'm
me,
saying.
man.
We are in Dorchester,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Everyone will argue like Sika's the best meat out there.
I agree with that. You know, I mean,
It's like with your bear, you saw that cub. You've got nothing else to compare it to.
No,
That's the biggest bear you've seen.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that with Sika deer. I know a lot of people have shot really small Sika deer because everybody talks about how small they are compared to a whitetail. And then you take somebody out there and a little one comes by and they shoot it thinking it's a big deer. And they're really hard to judge sometimes.
Yeah.
You've harvested some nice Sikas. I've seen some of your pictures, Rob.
I mean, that's some decent ones. I've shot one decent 6-pointer. You know, I got a property this year, and I got a couple nice ones on camera. So, you know, if the mosquitoes ever decide to leave, I'll go hunt them.
Do you have a thermocell or 2 or 3 or 4?
I was telling Eddie I'm going to get it's a thermocell. They call it the thermocell backpacker. It uses a full camping butane thing. So I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I haven't seen him before.
Yeah.
You know what?
Backpacker.
The backpacker.
You see this cloud of smoke.
Hey, Rob, is that you over there?
Is that a
500
wood
yards from
fire?
here? What's all that white smoke coming up
It's
off
just
the tree
Rob.
line there,
Signals.
brother?
I don't care. As long as the bugs aren't on me.
That's
I'm good,
right.
man.
Come down out of the tree stand. You got 3,000, 300,000 dead mosquitoes in a pile, like you know how they fall off the deer when they're hanging in the walk-in, you know. So that's some good shit. Hey, before I forget, look, I know somebody out there wants a free sticker, so in them comments, you know, just put something in there like, "Give me that sticker." All right, so what's like some big fishing trips you've been on? Let's talk about some fishing. Tunas, marlins, whale sharks.
Hold on. Before you get into that, my uncle is actually fishing the White Marlin Open right now.
Nice.
He just brought in a tuna today. Just got off the scales, 121 pounds.
Oh my God.
Currently leads the tuna category.
Hot damn! There we go, baby. All right, looks like we're all getting new houses after this thing's done.
It's a tuna, not a marlin.
Oh, shit. We can get a half a house anyway.
Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No, probably my best. I said always go after spring trophy season for rockfish. That's always great. Probably my most memorable, my best fishing trip. You know, my buddies always, for I don't know, 5 or 6 years now, they always go on a tuna trip, and I kind of go back and forth on it because I mean it's an expensive trip.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a fish. You know, but I decided to go one year, and I lucked out. Like it was the best year that anyone had ever seen on a tuna trip. I mean, we had doubles a couple times. We caught 2 that were 100+ pounds.
That's
I think
awesome.
I caught one that was about 100 pounds right out of Ocean City. It was a phenomenal trip. I mean, just fantastic. The only thing I'd say, like, tuna's good. When it's fresh, it's great. But you get all that meat and then you refrigerate it and freeze it and try and cook it again. Like, to me, I don't think it's that great. So
It's a real good giveaway to your neighborhood.
Yeah,
that's right.
And your friends and family.
Yeah. So the following year, one of my same buddies, Peyton, invited me to go with him on a trip they've been doing down off of Florida in the Gulf for like grouper and red snapper, a nice deep sea fishing trip, and that was totally different. You go out, you hit the wrecks, you drop your line, you're on fish right away, and it's just a fight all day, nonstop action. Whereas tuna's trolling until you get one. I really enjoyed that a lot more, and eating wise, oh my God. I mean, you can't go wrong. Red snapper and grouper, I mean, frozen for months, you thaw it out, cook it. I mean, it was as good as it was fresh the day we caught it. I mean, so I don't know, man. I mean, to each his own, I prefer the deep sea fishing trip. I thought it was great. A lot more action and much better fish to eat. But, the snakehead trips have been good. I don't actually fish for snakeheads that much. I mainly bow fish for them because then I kind of combine both my passions.
Yep.
And, so I've shot, quite a few snakeheads, I've gotten them in like the teens, pound wise. I love bow fishing for them at night. And I mean, they're like the ugliest, nastiest, slimiest freaking things. But I mean, they eat just impeccable, man. I mean, if you never eaten a snakehead fish, you need to come down to the Wolford store, hook up.
Oh, yeah, we ate some before the show.
That's right.
We did. We had some before the show. It was great. You can hook up with Eddie and Kaz.
That could catch on.
And Gary. They'll put you on some snakeheads, and you will eat like a king. I can promise you. If you like rockfish, you won't believe how good a snakehead is because it blows rockfish out of the water. It's unbelievable.
Well, according to your wife, I think we need to talk about your trip to Cozumel.
No, it's called Cozumel. Yeah. That is the name of the country. Like, seriously, really.
Cozumel.
Like 7 years ago, that was my nickname.
Cozumel.
When I went to my meetings at night, they'd be like, hey, there's Cozumel over there, because I had a friend who went scuba diving every other. My buddy would go to Cozumel scuba diving all the time. So that's how that came about. But yeah, I'd love to hear some of that.
So she's really bringing this shit up, right?
She's trolling you, man. I mean, at least she's trolling you.
Oh, this is going to be a good story.
Yeah, this will be fun. I want to hear it now.
We're going to have her on here if you don't tell her.
Yeah. Come on, Holly.
All the good stuff I said about her, and she's going to bring this up.
Oh shit! This must not be. This could be really good. Then go ahead.
All right. So,
did anybody fall off the boat?
No, but if she was here, she'd get thrown out of the boat. I can tell you that. All right. So
this might be a one and only time this ever gets heard public.
So this goes back a little bit. Like many years ago, I was on a boat and I got really sick, and I've never been the same since on a boat. I get motion sickness. Like,
oh wow,
I'm not like scared to go on a boat, but it's just, I guess it's a deep down mental thing. Like, I got to take motion sickness or whatever. So we went down on vacation. I said, hey, let's go fish out on the ocean one day. And so we booked a charter and we went out, for catch deep sea fish and sailfish or whatever. And it happened to be windy that day. And I didn't have any motion sickness pills or anything. So we get on the boat and we go out. And I mean, there's like 14-foot swells, man. It's like you're down in the water and then you see land and then you're down in the water.
I've been there.
And, I got sick. I mean, I got sick. I stood by.
Did you get sick?
I got sick. I stood by the side of the boat. And I'm holding on to the side, just like trying to, in the breeze, just trying to keep it down, but it would not stop coming. And it's just blowing back. It's blowing.
Oh,
It's
man.
blowing all over the mates at the back of the boat, man. It was horrible. Now my wife, on the other hand,
Is laughing?
oh no, she's a freaking spaz. She's in the boat crying, we're gonna die. And I'm like, we're fine. Like, I'm just sick.
You're over there dying on your own.
I'm like dying on the. She's inside, literally just freaking out that we're gonna die and the boat's gonna flip over. I'm like, we're fine.
How many other people were on this vessel?
Like 3 or 4 other guys.
Okay.
And they were catching fish, man, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't stop throwing up. It was so bad.
Now I have to ask: was alcohol involved the night before?
There was no alcohol involved, dude. It was just two
God.
pathetic white Americans that went down to the Bahamas to fish, and I'm throwing
Silly
up.
gringos.
And she's freaking just ready. She's in tears, thinking she's gonna die.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
And
But it was probably very real to her at the time. Though, you know what I mean?
it was real, dude. Like, she literally thought we were gonna die, and the boat was gonna flip over.
So did you get better before you went in, or is it all day like that?
No, dude. It was a 4-hour trip, and I was sick
God.
the whole 4 hours.
Miserable.
I stood in the same spot literally for 4 hours.
Shit.
Besides a couple times I went inside to try and comfort her until I had to throw up again, and I got to go back outside.
You never want to go inside.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
you got to get that boy for at least going back in and
That's
trying
right.
to comfort her while you were.
I mean, and now I take, like when I did my tuna trip, I went and got, the little patch you can put behind your ear now. And that's fantastic, man. It takes it all away. I mean, I can do anything on the water now with the patch, but I'm not scared at all. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just something ingrained now that when the water's rough, I get sick.
Well,
I guess-
15 foot's rough.
I've never been seasick, but I've been with a lot of people that have, and I've always figured if I ever get sick one time, I'll be the same way. You never can
Let
go
me
again.
let me just tell you guys what's sick. Okay, what's sick is this shirt right here that we're gonna give away right now. All right, so if
That
you
is awesome.
if you want to win that shirt, put in them comments. Let me have that shirt, please, Kaz. Got to say that. So that was Cozumel. Any other out of the world trips fishing?
No, I've not really taken many like, out there fishing trips. I do a lot of fishing just, in and around home, man. Rivers, trout fishing, smallmouth, ponds for bass and lake, a little bit of lake fishing.
Did you do any scuba diving while you were in Cozumel at all?
We did some snorkeling. We didn't actually scuba
Okay.
dive, but we did some snorkeling and stuff like that. That was really cool.
I've never been out of the country, so when my friends go to places like
They
that,
won't
and
let you
send
out
me
of the
pictures. Well, you're right, but anyway,
They don't let them out. They won't let them back in.
I'm hoping I can get out of this store tonight, dude. So,
Somebody already stole your truck.
I know, right? And I got a bleeding leg, so I ain't gonna make it far walking down the road. I'll be bled out before I get home. So
That's all right. We can use it for bait.
That's right.
Jesus
Chumming.
God, dude. That's right. Yeah, I'll tell you what Patrick's been telling me every weekend up the crabs. He's like, dude, all these dead crabs, we should be crushing them up in 5-gallon buckets and selling crab chum. I think you might be onto something with that. So anyway, so Rob, what is your biggest accomplishment, you think, for you? I know it's a tough question. So, like for you, life-wise, I mean, what is your biggest accomplishment, and where do you want to go? What is Rob's goal from here?
Man,
I
just
know.
talk about them putting somebody on the spot, dude. I mean, honestly,
I mean, you could be a WWF wrestler in the next 5 years. I don't know, So.
It's WWE now.
Oh, WWE, yeah.
no, it's.
I told you I don't watch TV, so.
I mean, I'm pretty happy right now with what I've accomplished. I have a lot of goals that I'm trying to to get. I mean, I would say like one of my biggest accomplishments is just finding my soulmate and getting married. I mean, not all of
Another
us,
that a boy right there.
not all of us are that lucky.
Right, you're right. You are right.
You're a great, loving, supporting family. I've been blessed to work in the industry that I love, that I have passion for. Actually, like 2 industries, like the Outdoor Sportsman Group is great. I get to, run social media for them. I get to talk hunting and fishing all day long and do all that great stuff and interact with, people that I admire and look up to. So, I mean, that's fantastic. Certainly love to be in some of their positions one day. And, I've had the opportunity to be on a couple TV shows. You know, I got some really good friends in the industry.
You were just on one here recently, weren't you?
Yeah. In particular, there's a show on Sportsman Channel called The Bearded Buck. You know, Jerry Tibbett and his son Austin. You know, good friends with them, and they invite me up to turkey hunt, and you know, they put me on the show, and you know, that was another turkey hunt. I had my wife on that, and we doubled up on some birds, and that's very cool. That was phenomenal, man.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was the best turkey hunt of our life, and it got broadcast on the show. So I mean, that's a memory we'll get to share forever, and we have a copy of it. So that was great. So I mean, there's a lot of things. You know, being in the land group is another side of the outdoors that I get to explore and go out and do what I love. And, you know, I hope that one day, you know, just really bloom with that business and, you know, just, you know, who knows, you know, just be a full-time broker, you know, a land broker, you know, maybe a hunting guide or something like that. I got a lot of different things in my mind right now. I mean, there's just a lot of goals and constantly thinking of different things. So that's a really tough question to answer. I mean, at this point in my life, there's a lot of different things going on in my head.
So for these guys, you know, that want to look at the land group and what you're doing there as far as hunting properties, how can they find you there at the land group? Where can they find you at?
I just go to the land group. You know, that's the landgroup.us. I mean, you
guys have a Facebook page too?
Yeah. It's, you know, the land, just the land group. I mean, it's pretty easy. You know, we sell dirt, and I mean, we're here. Like we study land. We're a little bit different than your traditional brokerage. I mean, we're studying land values, you know, the timber value, the agriculture value, the farming value, like the marsh value. And that's one thing, like we're down here in Dorchester, you know, marsh value is really not much. Like, but you know, it's sentimental value. Like
that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I know you guys are really doing a lot here on the shore, and we know a lot of people are looking to relocate. We know a lot of people are looking for a snakehead spot, you know. I mean,
we got tons of
them.
That's
what I'm trying to say. So we've got big properties. We can find somebody that little piece they're looking for just to get a weekend getaway or something for them if they need it.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got properties all over the Eastern Shore. We've expanded into, you know, the Western Shore, Carroll County, Howard County. We're in like Southern PA, Delaware, Virginia. But I mean, we've got properties anywhere from $50,000 to $4 million. So I mean, there's something there for everyone. You know, if you want a sick-deer property, we've got them. If you want great whitetail hunting properties, we got them. If you're looking for farms or small farmettes, we've got them. We just sold a poultry farm for $3.6 million. Like, it is a really great time, you know, in the land market if you're looking to do something.
I don't think we could have had better timing either with the way that things are going with real estate. You know what I mean? So this was probably
it's great.
You know, it's weird how, in my opinion, God works. You know, God puts people in your plate in your life for reasons. You know, we get together at times for reasons, and it just seems like this was a really opportune time for you to come in here and talk about the things that you do.
No, it's great, and you know, I do contribute. You know, being part of the land group is, you know, that's another accomplishment that, you know, a goal that I'd always had set in my mind. You know, being part of that group enabled me to buy my own property. So, you know, I'm now a property owner, and that's pretty cool. So I look forward to, you know, taking my first animal on my own land this year, and I just, you know, I'm pretty happy about that. It's not a big piece of land, but it's mine. I mean, I was able to buy it, and that's an accomplishment that I'd always wanted to do, and I got it done. So, you know, I'm just going to expand from there. I mean, it's all about expanding, you know, pushing forward. Life's hard. It's always going to try and knock you down, but you just got to get up and just keep fighting and don't give up. I mean, we're all free here. We can all make our own decisions. You know, this is America, man. If you want it, go out and get it. All you got to do is work hard for it. I mean, it's there for everybody.
Anybody wants another sticker, we got this Ravens themed snakeheadlife.com sticker here. I don't know if you like it or not, but we're going to give it to somebody. So you can only win one prize. So remember that, folks. So somebody put in there, give me that sticker, Kaz, and we'll give it to you. Or Spaz, or whatever you want to put in there like the last guy did. Jason.
Just for the record, I don't approve of the Ravens colors.
Well, I know you don't. I know. that was the only thing I come up with. Okay, if you would like this violet snakeheadlife.com picture, and you know, while we're here and we're talking for a minute, let's talk a little bit about a couple lures. You know, we've been talking about this week with several people. You know, on our social media platforms. You know, live target mouse. You know, I know I was talking to Donald Jones the other day, and he asked me, he said, hey, when you took me fishing that one time, what was that one mouse that you were always using? And this was it. I think when I took Greg Hall on his first trip down here, I think that's what we were using too, was either live target mouse or live target sunfish. So this has been a really, really great bait here recently, especially with all the rain that just hit. You got to keep in mind it's going to push them mice up out of their safe havens and get them out on the water swimming across the top. So we know snakeheads will probably be on the lookout for a mice pretty preferably this week. Eddie, I know you wanted to plug something there a little bit, didn't you? Your hyperelastics?
Yeah, this is definitely my favorite lure right now. The hyperlastic start spin.
And we just got some back in
just
here.
got some more back in here at the store. But yeah, this is my favorite right now. This is fantastic. This is the one I caught all 3 fish on a couple weeks ago. I can't stop. I can't talk enough about this bait.
And the amazing thing about the bait, and here's another color pattern that's been working really, really good down here, is the hookup ratio.
Yep.
I mean, you're just not missing the fish like you are on a lot of other baits, you know. We've been having a lot of good reports this week on the Lunker Hunt Pocket Frog. You know, a lot of guys have been using this. You know, those of you that know me.
That's my favorite frog lure there.
I mean,
Yep.
I have a nickname for this lure, right? I call it my Ditch Bitch Pro Model, okay? so honestly, man, like this is the lure that I'm using in the ditches. This is the lure that I'm using, you know, stuff like that. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit about the Whopper Popper because this was a very, very effective lure yesterday, okay? I talked to several people yesterday, and it was Whopper Popper, Whopper Popper, Whopper Popper. I mean, the last 2 days of conversation has been Whopper Popper, MEPS, addictions, and the mice.
Yep.
You know, and the hyperelastics. I mean, the hyperelastics. Another lure that I haven't heard a lot of guys talking about. So let's just replug that because we catch a lot of fish on these things down here.
Oh, reliable.
The Kitech
yeah.
3.8, okay? You can put this on a chatterbait, you can put this on a spinnerbait, you can put this on whatever the hell you want to, okay? Swim jig, whatever you want.
That's the best paddle tail going right now.
Yeah, that's what I use on my splatterbait.
I agree. And we got one more sticker right there. All right, so that one right there, we'll give that to somebody. So give me that sticker, Kaz, and you can have that sticker too. Let's see. Gary, anything that you want to talk about before we get out of here? What's going on with you and the sick of deer? You doing anything, getting ready for it? You been scouting, doing
getting
anything?
ready to get ready. I haven't really done anything yet.
You hearing any
Scouting
bugling?
it.
You hearing anything?
I haven't heard one bugle yet.
I haven't heard one yet.
It's a little early.
I'll tell you what I heard the other day. I was down there picking tomatoes down the end of Button's Neck, and I had a sicker somewhere hiding back in there that was trying to flush me out, kept barking at me.
I've had
And
a
I
few
couldn't
jump in
find
the
her. I kept
frag.
looking for her. I walked back in, and I could hear her barking again like she moved to the left. So she was watching me, but I couldn't see her, you know, so I know she was in
And
there.
I've seen a bunch of them. I've seen, you know, especially Hans running around the fields, but haven't heard any bugles yet. But it's a little. It's got to cool down just a little bit. I think it's.
Yeah.
I agree. It's been hot, hot, hot.
They
I'll tell you
they
what.
probably don't want to put out the energy.
What's really been kind of blowing my mind is the day activity I've been seeing lately. You know, there's been a lot of them out the last 2 weeks in the middle of the day.
A lot
you
of
know,
deer,
so-
period.
Yeah.
Right in the
Yep.
middle of the day.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a good amount of deer here this year. I think that they had a pretty good, from what I see as far as babies. There's a lot of babies this year, man. Every time I see them crossing the road to sick of deer, they've all got 1 or 2 or 3 with them. You know what I mean? So
Kaz, I want to take you out this year. I'll bring the Dramamine. Just do what I say, and you will shoot a deer.
okay, that's fine. Just remember when I get excited, you might have to just strap me to the tree for a minute so I don't get up. Maybe what you do is like I do with my dogs. I keep them on a real short leash.
That's
So
why
when
I'm
they try
gonna
to get
bring.
away,
We're
just give
gonna
'em a-
drug you.
Put a choke collar on him. You
That-
calm him down. Just cut his air off.
Does that mean no Red Bull for the day, or what does that mean?
No, we're gonna drug you, get you real calm, and make sure.
Unisom does that for me at night.
Yeah. Nah, it'll be good, man. We'll make sure you bring the meat home this time.
We were telling Rob about how Kaz hunts and how he loses his shit when the shot comes into play and he can't sit down. He screams and hollers and scares everybody in the goddamn woods, unloads his gun in 5 seconds. So, yeah. Eddie, what do you got? Got anything else for today? Anything you want to talk about? What's going on here at the store? Anything anybody needs to know?
Business as usual. No one more's from here.
No dining in?
We're still dining in.
Dining in, okay. All right, so I asked Rob if he was going to sing with me today, and I think Rob's going to sing with me. Rob, before we get out of here, you know, I want to say thank you for
He
coming
is.
here, and
Yeah,
I want to thank
absolutely.
Patrick
Awesome.
for kind of making the connection between me and you.
That's the man.
Next week, we may have. Well, we'll wait. I got a special guest
We'll
lined up for next week,
We'll wait.
and yeah, we'll wait. So I got a real good guest coming next week. So we'll talk about that next Wednesday. But anyway, I just want to say thank you for a good show. You know, we always have a good time. We hope everybody out there that watches enjoys the show. And if you can think of anything else that we can add to the show to make it more fun, let us know, man. You know, I mean, that's what we're here for. We want you to have fun too. So.
Hey, can I say one more thing?
Oh yeah, baby.
I just want to say these guys are awesome. They're doing really great stuff down here. And like seriously, if anyone, because I know everyone always questions about snakeheads. You want a snakehead fish. People want to know how to do it, where to do it, how to do it, all that good stuff. Come see these guys at the Wolford store. Kaz and Eddie, great guys. They'll put you on the fish. And the thing we didn't really talk about a lot is that, I mean, these are invasive fish. They're hurting the native populations of the game fish. Come down here and catch them, kill them, and eat them, so the natural fish can actually come back and make a little comeback, because the snakeheads are definitely doing some harm to the natural wildlife. And then hunt, the vote. Make sure y'all get out and vote this November. It's really important for the outdoors.
And for anybody that wants to know, Gary has some openings available right now.
Yeah.
I just sent some to you today, so you should be getting some today.
I've got a couple return phone calls I got to make. It's just been
it's busy. It's busy.
Hot.
With the hurricane and everything here last 2 days, I mean, we're swamped. So keep this in mind. You know, if you want to go with Gary, you know, we're not going to be looking for numbers for the day. We're looking for those big dragons. You know, we want you to get your PB. We want you to go get your citation. We want you to check your fish into the invasive count going on in the state of Maryland. That's set up right now. Let's not forget about that's going on.
Through
you can
CCA.
help. You can help through CCA and the state of Maryland by checking the stomach contents of your snakeheads and adding that to your submission. You know, for that program. So with all that out of the way.
Go ahead.
It's time. It's now. The Sunday Fun Day giveaway. All right, folks, look, you know, out here at Blackwater's Edge, we're having a great time. So, look, this week, MEPS is going to give our good friend Zach LeMaster a MEPS lure, okay? Zach, look, we watched what you did on Facebook, helping that young guy out, giving him some tackle and getting him set up and getting him pointed in the right direction over there on the west side to catch some snakes. Boom, boy, you did it. I like that. WickedStickers.com, my good friend Eris Matos. Look, if you need anything for your business, hats, shirts, towels, coffee cups, pens, I don't care what you want, any kind of substrate, don't hesitate to ask if he can do it. Dude, I had him put some stuff on some lures for me, so he can do anything that you want as far as getting your print needs taken care of. Okay, Stephanie Burke, I'm going to give you that crab stand giveaway package from WickedStickers.com. My good friend Steve Rogers over there at Outlaw Barbecue. Look, you haven't had barbecue if you're not an outlaw. Get over there to Outlaw Barbecue. Look, folks, it isn't just barbecue. This week, it's crab cakes on the menu. We've been selling out of crab cakes every time he throws them on the menu. Oh, my God, it is insane. So make sure you get out there and get them $14.99 a sandwich. I think that's what they are, and they are absolutely delicious. So, look, Steve, thank you. We're giving away a $20 gift card for Connie Merriman Lally. You get that $20 gift card. You get to go out there and get whatever the heck you want off that menu. So go and enjoy yourself. Look, Stonebridge Grill, my good friend Chef Mitch out there is making all kinds of delectable delights out there on the menu. So look, soft crab sandwiches, soft crab sliders, crab cakes. Look, all kinds of amazing stuff. I love their chicken wings. They've got just this right crispiness about them that I just can't find anywhere else. And the sauce is absolutely amazing. So make sure you get out there to Stonebridge Grill. See my good friend Mitch. Get yourself, you know, something to eat out there so you can fill your belly. Amber Bell, we're going to give you that $20 gift card. Look, from the crab stand. Home of the guaranteed #1 Maryland crab. That's all we sell, Maryland crabs. 100% guaranteed Maryland crabs from right here on the Eastern Show. Right from the boat to your throat. From the little chop tank. From the Hunger River. We don't know where they're coming from, but we know they're coming off the Eastern Shore. They're fat, they're heavy, and they're full. So look, folks, this week I'm going to give a dozen crabs to Dave Hott. Dave, you've been sharing a lot. You've been doing a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty sure that's why your name got picked. Richard Spilo, you get a dozen crabs too. All right, look, folks, I have that song that we all like to sing every week, and this week, my friend Rob has agreed to sing the song with me. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing. And look, Rob, if you don't know the words, there's just one thing you need to remember: 3 kapals at the end. That's it. 3 kapals at the end. So look, folks, here we go. My crabs, they have 3 first names. It's heavy, full, and fat. My crabs, they have a 4th name. Absolutely mustard packed! So, if you ask me where they're from, they're 100% guaranteed Maryland #1s. At the crab stand, here's a fact I know for sure you're coming back. Kapow! Kapow! And kapow! See you, folks.